Once you've purchased and gathered all your materials and supplies, you're ready to start growing. This section will cover the various techniques and methods I have found work well for each phase of the process: seeding, transplanting, and harvesting. I usually have some nutrient solution on hand from the last time I filled downspouts, but if you're just starting out or don't have any on hand, begin by mixing some up. The exact ratio of ingredients you need will be different depending on your water. First, adjust your pH value. Lettuce likes a 5.5 to 6 pH, but I find my pH tends to rise over time, so I like to go for around 5 pH. I aim for 1.5 to 2 EC. For me, this is about 1 tablespoon of Maxigro for 4 gallons of water. For more information on this, I suggest checking out the General Hydroponics Maxigro feed charts. Set a sheet of hoarder cubes in your 1020 tray and place a single seed in each dibble. This will be a lot easier with pelleted seed. Tap the tray on the table a few times to help set any pelleted seed that might not have dropped into their holes. Now mist the hoarder cubes with water until the tray is completely full, then drain the tray and continue spraying. Do this a couple more times to rinse most of the hoarder cube debris from the tray. If you don't have a hose with a mist setting, simply water them from a pitcher, making sure each cube gets wet. After your final rinse and drain, use nutrient solution to fill the tray up until you can just see the water between the cubes. Place the tray on the germination shelf with a humidity dome. Remove the dome in about a week when the seedlings start popping up. Check the seedlings each day to make sure they have enough water. Fill the trays until you can just see the water between the hoarder cubes. After 4 or 5 weeks, your seedlings should start to become crowded and are ready for transplanting. First, drain all the water from the tray. Break off each cube and squeeze the bottom half till it fits into the downspout hole. This might take a few tries, but you'll get the hang of it before long. Because I have a total of 50 seedlings, but only 40 holes to transplant into, I will avoid any plants that seem small or frail. Repeat this until all your downspouts are full. If, for some reason, you don't have enough plants to fill up all the holes in your downspouts, use the 3D printed empty hole caps mentioned in the previous video. Discard any extra hoarder cubes that either didn't germinate or had small plants, and clean your tray for future use. Place the downspouts on your shelf spaced 6 to 7 inches from center to center to ensure they have room to grow. Leave the water hole end sticking off the edge of the shelf for easier access. If you're using the detachable mirror system mentioned in the previous video, you can clip these on your shelf now. Next, it's time to make up the nutrient solution. Because I've done this before and already know how much acid and Maxigro I need to get my desired pH and EC values, I can add these partway through filling my tote, so that they can be mixed thoroughly by the agitated water as I fill it the rest of the way. But if this is your first time mixing up nutrient solution, you want to fill the tote first, then adjust your pH gradually using the pH balancing kit, before finally adding your nutrients and mixing it all together. Again, General Hydroponics has useful feed charts showing how much Maxigro to use in different situations. As before, I aim for 1.5 to 2 EC and 5 pH. Once you have your nutrient solution, the simplest way to get it into the downspouts is just to use a pitcher to ladle it into the watering hole at the end of the downspout. If you have a lot of downspouts to fill, you may want to set up the pump system mentioned in the previous video. Fill the downspouts until the water is just touching the bottom of the horticubes. You can tell you have enough water when after a few minutes you can see a dark ring around the base of the horticube where the water has wicked up into it. When you're finished, rinse and dry any equipment that was in contact with the nutrient solution. After another 4 weeks, your lettuce heads should be ready to harvest. As you near 8 weeks, you will want to check the downspouts to make sure they still have enough water in them. Add more nutrients if you think they'll run dry before you're ready to harvest. But keep in mind, it's easier to move the downspouts around with less water in them, so aim for them being nearly empty when you harvest. Use a pair of scissors to snip off each head at the base. Pluck any small, wilted leaves from the bottom, and set the head aside to be bagged and refrigerated. Once all the heads of lettuce are harvested from the downspout, remove the water cap, take the downspout to a sink or tub, and drain out the extra nutrients. You can now slide the next downspout to the front of the shelf and repeat the process. When all the downspouts have been harvested and drained, remove and discard the horticubes and roots. Clean out your downspouts so they're ready for future use. If you have spots of algae or mineral deposits, spritz those areas with a water-vinegar mixture and let those sit for a few minutes so they're easier to wipe down. A hose with a spray nozzle on the highest pressure setting makes this a fairly quick process if you don't mind getting a little wet. Dry off the downspouts when you're finished, and you're ready for more transplants. To conclude, I'd like to say thanks again to Mike Vanduzzi for introducing me to this way of doing hydroponics. I really appreciate his focus on making a system that's so affordable and easy compared to other hydroponic methods. With this in mind, I hope to continue refining this design, looking for ways to reduce the work and costs involved. So subscribe if you're interested in updates, and comment with any ideas or questions you might have. Currently, the most expensive parts of the system are the shelves and lighting, so I'm planning on looking into what options there might be to make these more affordable, perhaps using a DIY shelf designed out of cheap lumber like furring strips and 2x3s. Custom shelves would then allow for a system based around 3.3 foot downspouts, which would be easier to maneuver. I'm also working on developing a smaller, even simpler version that can easily fit in people's homes and produce 6 heads of lettuce per week. I hope to create and sell an easy-to-assemble kit for this so that even people who aren't as comfortable with DIY can grow their own hydroponic lettuce year-round. So subscribe if you're interested in updates, and don't forget to check out the guidebook in the description for more information on all these steps. That's it. Now go grow some lettuce.